Hello and welcome to the second and final video in my tutorials on how to draw in one-point perspective. At the end of the last video, I explained that in the next part we would be looking at more advanced techniques such as drawing circles and equally spaced objects. That's exactly what we're going to do. Let's look at how to draw equally sized and equally spaced objects. Start by drawing a square. Find its center by joining the opposite corners with diagonal lines. Then divide it into further equal pieces by running vertical and horizontal lines through the center we just found. By projecting a new diagonal line out of the square like this, we can precisely replicate half the width of the square without knowing a single numerical measurement. Or we can replicate the entire width of the square by projecting a diagonal like this. We now know how to replicate a linear distance without actually using any measurements. Let's put this to use in a perspective drawing. We'll start by drawing a rectangle. We find its center by adding diagonals. Remember, geometric relationships remain the same no matter how we view a particular object. So we can now replicate the size of our rectangle by projecting a diagonal out of it, just like we did in 2D a few moments ago. By doing this over and over again, we now have a bunch of identically sized, equally spaced objects in one-point perspective. Now I can move out of the construction layer and go over this so you can see how it all comes together. Alright, now let's look at how to draw a circle in one-point perspective. I'm going to start by drawing a circle in 2D. Next, I'll draw 4 tangential lines to form a square. Like before, we'll cut up the square by drawing diagonals followed by vertical and horizontal lines. We can now see where the edge of the circle lies in relation to all of these various points in the square. Now let's draw this in perspective. Once again, we'll start by drawing a symmetrical rectangle. It's not technically a square since we have no way of ensuring that the length and width are equal. It is, however, good enough for representing a circle in perspective. We go on to locate the same points we did a few moments ago. I'm going to draw the curve using the ellipse tool in Sketchbook. If you were drawing this on paper, you'd be using a flexible guide, or an ellipse stencil, or just freehanding it if you want. Let's just draw another one further away so you can see how the shape changes. Finally, let's draw a circle in a different orientation, just so you have an idea of how it looks. I'm going to wrap up by drawing a scene that puts all of this to use. This is the inside of a hallway sort of thing, I suppose. I'm just making this up. Doing some equispacing so I can draw arches here. Some more equispacing on the other side. I'll do some windows here. Switching to a different construction color because this is getting kinda cluttered. Let's go over this on the final layer. Now, what we're doing here may not give us a technically perfect representation of a circle, but I think you'll agree that it's close enough for artistic purposes. Remember, perspective drawings are an artistic tool, not a technical blueprint. You're not going to walk onto a construction site and find anyone trying to get useful technical specifications of a perspective drawing. Now I'm just going to mess around with some watercolors. And that wraps up my series on how to draw in one-point perspective. Hopefully it's been of use to you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.